I think the other thing in terms of adaptations that I would like to bring up, which sort of goes back to the discussion was having about Markiplier and his success with Iron Lung, is the fact that content creator Alanah Pearce announced towards the end of March that she had launched her production company, which was called Charred Pictures, and it's basically a company that's focused on involving game developers in the adaptation of film and TV projects. So yeah, like the idea that we have a content creator that has gone out of their way to create a new avenue for adaptations to be made is very interesting, because I'm paraphrasing, but the idea is now with Charred Pictures, what they're going to do is get involved with the game developers from the outset. So they'll have creative input in terms of how these films are made. And rather than going through the big rigmarole of Hollywood and how they tend to micromanage projects and then try to make something, this will be a case that the game developers will get to work with this production company to make the best product possible in terms of the adaptations. And I just find this really fun and fascinating because, like, not only will this allow for adaptations to be made in a different format, but also it will allow adaptations of properties that probably wouldn't have gotten off the ground. Well, things have changed a lot in the last like 10 years, and you've started to see things from less popular franchises, but a lot of it is still stuff that people know. But with it being indie focused, there's a lot of indie games that I've played which I think would make for good film and TV shows. So with Alanah Pearce and her like production company now, I'm very curious to see what stuff gets adapted and where it will show up, because this could either, show up in the cinema or on streaming, and hopefully have that sort of feedback loop of introducing people who've not played these games to something that's interesting in whatever film or TV show format, and then maybe get them interested in going back and checking it out. But I think it's interesting that Alanah Pearce, she's been a very notable person in the games industry for a while. I don't follow her as much these days, but I was like big into her like happenings when she was working at IGN, and for the first couple years after she had left there. But it's just another avenue of people being able to take adaptations and do something interesting with them. So I was excited for her, and I was excited for the two projects that were announced, which I think was an adaptation of Faith the Unholy Trinity, which is a survival horror game trilogy, and what was the name of the other one? I have forgotten. I am sorry, but yeah, man,
I
like,
think the other one is Dead Take with Abu Bakar Salim.
thank you.
Um, he came up with a video game last year, I think, Tales of Kenzero Zao. I
Oh,
don't know
that
if
was
you.
him.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
him.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember Tales of
Yeah,
Zarazal. Yeah.
yeah. And I think there's another one, The Godmother, I think.
What do you think about this? Yeah.
Well, like Iron Lung is was a challenging film to watch, but at the same time, like we need more films like that. We need more films that like tackle that kind of whole independent nature of just taking back the reins from the powers that be to create the best possible piece of art that you wanted to showcase, right? Because basically what happens is that you do get some films that we get it, like they're investing quite a lot in this movie to get you the best possible the resources you need to produce it, just like Mario Brothers, right? Like I guess that's what Nintendo tried to push for. That's the vision that Nintendo wanted, right? But as you can see, like for example, like Metal Gear earlier, right? Just that example. If Hideo Kojima, like he's not part of Konami anymore, and I don't even know what the deals that went on with acquiring the property from Konami to Hollywood. But in terms of since Kojima's not an employee anymore
Yeah.
of Konami, like he won't have any creative input with where they're gonna take the Metal Gear game. Like will they be doing the whole Zack Kreger type thing where they'll take the lore and just not have Solid Snake in there and then just produce it right as part of this Metal Gear spy universe, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's the creators who have the power, they will be able to produce the film that's quite faithful to the source material. But then again, there's Five Nights at Freddy's.
And I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's, I think, is just a unique case because, again, those games have all the elements that you could utilize to make at least 3 or 4 different films if you really wanted to. But I think it just doesn't help that Scott, his storytelling skills are questionable. And the fact that he wrote the last 2 films and that's the way that they turned out, I think just speaks to this man's, like, quality of writing. I think he just needed, like, a supervisor or someone to rewrite the whole damn thing, except if he just gave notes instead, we could have had something solid. But I can only hope that the developers, like, behind these adaptations from Charred Pictures will have at least a more clearer goal and probably better script writers so that they can, get the best version of their games out in a way that suits the media that they're translating it into. One can only hope.
Well, as with everything else, we can only hope. Fingers crossed. Cautiously optimistic, and yeah, can't look forward to May.
Yeah, no, absolutely.